Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of Downloadable Brain, where I start to love the sound of my own voice a little bit less with each day. But as I continue to talk, so does everybody else. And we're all just a bunch of beings with a whole lot of things to say. And today's episode's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to talk about spirituality and religion, but I'm going to talk about letting go of my old religion and looking towards a different style of religion, a new belief system. To refrain from killing, to refrain from stealing, to refrain from lying, to refrain from being intoxicated, to refrain from improper sexual conduct. These are some of the teachings of the Buddhist lifestyle, and I'm intrigued. I want to become a Buddhist, pouring my heart and soul into the religion in order to get clean spiritually of all the weird things that others are constantly throwing our way, as well as just to start over with a clean slate. I already have a lot of these principles, and it's an honorable way to live. I realized my religion was somewhat of an oxymoron because while the teachings and principles of the Almighty God Himself are powerful teachings that can provide wisdom, when people come together to form alliances under these religions, they are not being very honest with what really goes on with them and their own sin behind closed doors. I don't have to get into it beyond that, and I won't explore it beyond what was said. But the people who call themselves a certain religion and do evil things know what they are doing. It's very spiritually unclean and can leave you feeling really dirty for devoting yourself to this specific religion, having you question your faith in God, life choices about the people who you surround yourself with, and what you understand to be the true path to righteousness and peace. If we do not have peace in our lives, we have chaos. As chaotic as the world is, there are ways to break free from the evil ways of the world and commit yourself to something bigger. That is why I respect Buddhism so much. I'm fascinated by the teachings of Buddha, and I want to dive deeper into this spiritual path in order to reach a true level of peace, as well as selflessly assist others who may need my help regarding healing, spirituality, or just life advice on making good positive choices for themselves. To refrain from eating after noon, to refrain from singing and dancing, to refrain from sitting or sleeping on luxurious items or places. Those teachings hit all the right notes in my heart and my soul. I don't like eating much at night. I'm not a singer or a dancer, and I don't much care to partake. I have no real desire for materialistic possessions or ambitions. I don't need a huge house to live in. For myself to be happy and satisfied, a smaller house or even an apartment will do just fine for me. How far am I willing to go to convert to Buddhism? I guess that depends on my current situation, thoughts on what I need to be doing with my life, and where it is I need to go, or who I need to assist with my spiritual gifts and wisdom. I fully commit myself to a life of Zen. I'm ready to become a more peaceful being, letting go of my resentment, hatred, and negative emotions I may be experiencing from people who continuously try to create problems for me, pick fights, and wish the worst. Who am I to correct a thief? Not a law enforcement official, just a person who is artistic, creative, and spiritually simply choosing to exist. If my experience alone bothers people, it's not a result of me being cruel or doing them wrong. It's actually the complete opposite, right? These people who project their hatred onto me hate themselves because of their own life choices, and they are looking for an excuse to take it out on somebody. This is exactly why I'm following the teachings of Buddha. I can allow my mind, my heart, and my soul to truly be free from the burdens of evil people and dark spirits. Those are not my beliefs, and it's not my energy. It's mainly the energy of people on social media or even in the workforce sometimes, even in your own family, your friendships, your relationships. But does the teachings of Buddha not say in order to convert, you have to leave those things behind? I'm not certain I'm ready to go all in as a self proclaimed Buddhist in full force just yet, but I am ready to dive into the philosophy in order to truly live a life of peace and spiritual enlightenment. The idea of being a vegetarian and not hurting animals really strikes a note with me. I do love animals, and I don't believe in hurting them. I can also take it a step farther to respect all living things, even a spider or an ant. So to eat vegetarian and not harm animals is a great principle to abide by. I wish to honor it as I step into a life of Zen and I rid myself of the evils of the world, closing off my door to allowing evil into my world. Because we are all in charge of our own lives, choices, spiritual beliefs, the relationships and friendships we make. What we choose to do for work, how we choose to help people, where we want to go, who we want to become. I never stopped learning, but I always went by specifically what people told me to do. There's nothing wrong with respecting authority, nor is there anything wrong with living the life you've always wanted to live as long as you're not hurting anybody. If the authority is to hurt others and be cruel, that's an authority I would never be willing to accept. But I'll just leave it at that. So how does a pasty white redhead become a Buddhist? Well, I'm not sure, but I'm willing to try my best to honor the lifestyle and abide by these teachings of Buddha. It feels spiritually right for me and seems to just be the best thing to do to maintain my own peace of mind, as well as to get to a point where I no longer hold any resentment at all towards trauma bonding abusers, thieves, and backstabbers. It's something I need to let go, and the thing about those people is that they will live with their choices for the rest of their lives, whether they feel guilty or not. They made some bad choices, did people wrong, and they will live with their life choices. Whether it comes back to them in karma or they just feel guilty later on in life, it's always going to be with them, the choices they made. I don't have to let those choices define me because I was not born to be a slave to the evil ways of the world. I was born to follow my own path and do what it is I want to do. Isn't that what everybody has the right to do? Let us remind ourselves that many wars were fought in order for us to have sovereign countries and peaceful agreements with others. Some men or women would love to have war if they could, but not everybody is willing to go to war. And wars are just a result of powerful people not being able to settle their differences. War is not limited to powerful people in high-ranking places, though. Spiritual warfare is also real. It's when evil people attack good people and try to keep them down when they never really did anything to hurt them at all. It was just the opposite, and the evildoers did a bunch of things to hurt you. We are not binded to what they did to hurt us. The true path to inner peace is to release those injustices and the trauma bonds they tie us to, with their cold and calculated plans of attack. It will fall flat when you maintain your power, choose to be your own person, and not give in to the evil ways of the world. I'm a musician. I was never a singer or a dancer. I'm not sure what the teachings of Buddha have to say about being creative with musical instruments, but if it's something I needed to give up, I would need to really think it over before fully converting to Buddhism. I still accept a life of Zen regardless, and I want to start abiding by the life teachings of Buddha. What do you guys think about religion and spirituality? Where do you stand on your path? Religion can help a person become at one with themselves and free from negative energies or negative outlooks on life. I know how important religion is in society, and I know how much it can help people. Some people choose nothing, but to choose nothing but worship money, power, and fame is the total opposite of the path I am heading, which tells me I must be on the right path because I hate the idea of fame and hoarding wealth. If I had wealth, I would rather take some of that money I have in order to do some good with it, because not everybody does. It was not my decision to decide for them, because not all of us are born into wealthy families or have privileges certain others have. We don't have to become jealous of them for it, but we also don't have to aspire to be like them. How much do you think those people really care about middle class or lower class citizens? They don't care enough to teach them how to build a legacy and empire of their own, but they care just enough to hire them on to work the jobs for the companies they own. which they would rather not do for themselves. And if they did, they would probably exhaust themselves as the result of hard work. Not to say powerful people don't work hard, but everybody needs to do a specific job, whether it's a good job or a not so fun job. I was the toilet cleaner at one point, and what it really showed me is about moving up the ladder of success. When you work hard and the company relies on you, they'll start to move you around and ask you to do more. And when that happened to me, people became bitter and jealous of the company I belonged to. Even though that the company relied on me to come in all the time, some of my managers became just as bitter as my coworkers, and they would go as far as to tell totally fabricated stories about me. When I told them about my own life, my hobbies and talents that I have, they would spin it into something it never was. But that's okay because I'm not them and they're not me. Buddhism teaches not to lie on other people or lie to anybody. So if a bunch of people made up a bunch of lies about me and I'm living in Zen and truth, I know I'm on the right path.